Yes, ladies and gentlemen, for the Fringe FM, coming at you live from the middle of nowhere, the center of everywhere, here once again to give you yet another scrumptious dose of conversational boogie. This is Shift Happens. Yes. Sorry we missed last week, but we are back in black, my friends. Do follow us on Twitter over at Shift Happens Pod for all of your shifty needs. You can follow me very personally over at GGRabbit1. And yeah, it's good to be back. Good to be back. We've got a great show for you tonight, and we've got a bunch of great shows coming up. Me and Brad have really been putting this stuff together, and we're excited for what we have to bring you. And now, joining us tonight, so JP is out of town. He's on another road trip across America, which seems to be pretty common as of late. And our associate producer, Brad Harris, was about to make it, but he had to go do family stuff. So he's not going to be here. So, with the absence of JP and Brad, we have a guest co-host for the evening. A surprise guest co-host. It's the one, the only, Eric Awakening Man. What's happening, Eric?
I called you out of I called you and surprised you by inviting myself on the show tonight.
Yes, absolutely. And,
only because I know Ronnie, and I believe in Ronnie, and she's been very persistent with this story for many years now. So I'm looking forward to this conversation. Actually,
yeah, me too. Yeah, I've heard nothing but good things. And but before we get into all that, before we bring our guest on tonight, you just had one hell of a time out at Mount Shasta with a pretty solid crew of all of our friends. Tell us a little bit about that and what went down and some of the highlights.
Yeah, it was at the Mount Shasta Park, which is right near the little creek river that runs right by. It's a beautiful park. It's probably the most beautiful park I've ever been to. So yeah, Rob Potter put it on. It's the first time I met Rob Potter. And that guy is a researching fool. I mean, he had people there at the conference that I'd never heard of before, and I thought I heard of everybody. And these people had some amazing stories that had done some amazing research that felt very credible to me. So I would give it on a 1 to 10. I would say 8 or 9. That's how good it was. I mean, there was not a boring speaker there, and all the information was really good. It was really. Anyway, yeah, we had a good time. There'd be some people in the future probably on your show. That one guy who lives in Huntington Beach with his son, they've been having experiences for 7 years now. And I know this is going to sound kind of wackadoodle, but apparently he's been taken aboard the ship and has a relationship with these particular beings, and they've allowed him to take pictures of their ship on the outside and the inside. He showed pictures at the conference of these of the ship. And anyway, from what I could tell, based on my discernment, my judgment, and my skill level of trying to figure out who's lying and who's not, I would say the guy's probably telling the truth. So I'm really excited about that story. And then later tonight, we're going to talk with Ronnie, hopefully a little bit about the Venusians, because there was a guy there, Dr. Keller, who wrote a book about Venus. He's written 7 books about Venus and the Venusians. And now I'm starting to think that stranger at the Pentagon story and the guy there at the Giant Rock, Van Tassel, when the Venusians were coming and visiting with him. I mean, maybe there's truth to that. I'm starting to think maybe that's not a bunch of BS. Maybe that's a real story. So I'm going to do a deep dive into that in the future.
Yeah, beautiful. There you go. And man, if I knew that conference was happening a little bit sooner, I probably could have made it out there too. But yeah, I've talked. You told me quite a bit about it, and talked to Jeff, and he was telling me about it. And I know Rob was out there, John, the whole crew, Brad Olson. Sounds like one hell of a time. And
yeah, it was a good time.
So how many do they do that? Is that just once a year that dude puts it on?
But then there's another conference happening up there that I think Brad's going to go to in a couple of months, some sort of Shambhala type conference. So there's usually 2 or 3 conferences happening in Shasta. I feel like we got lucky because when we got there, the temperature was in the 80s, maybe high 80s, but you're in the forest with the redwood trees. It's not really that hot. The last couple of days we were there, it jumped up into the upper 90s, and then trying to hang out at the campground or go hiking. We had to get up real early in the morning before it got too hot. And then, anyway, it got tiring. I mean, when you're in that kind of heat, it's tough. So just, if you do go out to these places, just check the temperature, because it's not as fun when it's 100 degrees as opposed to, and make sure there's no fires either, because this was the first time in 3 years there wasn't a fire in Shasta. So that was kind of nice to be there with clean skies. And oh, by the way, the Shasta Caverns, the Lake Shasta Caverns, highly recommend it. I give that a 10. And I'm not joking. We went inside the mountain. It's not actually Mount Shasta. It's a giant mountain that's near the lake there. And there's these caverns, and we literally went into the caverns and I saw things in that caverns that I've only seen in pictures. But when you see it in person, the impression that I got was that mountain was a living mountain, that whatever's inside that mountain, the whatever I'm looking at, that's part of the life source of that mountain. That's what struck me. And, I just recommend anybody get a chance to get out. If you ever get out to Shasta, Shasta Lake is before Dunsmuir, and then after Dunsmuir, you get up to Mount Shasta, and then you have Weed, California. So it's about a 40 mile run right there. So you just kind of pick and choose where you want to go, but definitely go to the caverns, because Bigfoot's been up there, by the way. There was a girl that worked there, I think it was about 7 years ago, as a tour guide, and she was with some tour. She was doing a tour, and they came out of the underground. It's basically an underground system. They put stairs in there, and they come out. And there was a Bigfoot there, and so she quit her job the next day. So, and the lady that works at the cash register there that takes the money, she's an older lady. She says that, she says it's a true story. It really happened, and she quit the next day. She's no BS about it. And then I said, she goes, but you need to come back in like late January, February, March. I go, well, why is that? She goes, well, there's hardly anybody here, and that's when we really have a lot of sightings. I says, oh, there's still sightings. She says all the time. Yeah, every year there's still sightings. They're still here. They haven't gone anywhere. Bigfoot's still there.
Wow.
So I'm expecting. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that venture. It's only 8 hours from my house, which isn't very far actually.
Oh, so you drove up there?
Yeah, I drove. I took the cats up there. One night we were camping out in the forest up there near Mount Shasta at the Bunny. I think it's a Bunny Hill, whatever, Bunny something or another.
Yeah.
And my cat escaped from the tent somehow and went into the forest. This was in the afternoon. We went on a search for him. We couldn't find him, and we just said, "Okay, that's it. He must have gotten eaten or taken or whatever." We just gave up, went back to bed. I woke up at 2:40 in the morning, and there he is outside my tent. The 9-month-old cat somehow had escaped into the forest and survived and came back. I was so happy, dude. You don't even know how happy I was to see that cat.
Yeah,
I thought he was gone.
Yeah, Jeff was telling me about that, and you know what? A quick funny story is, so my dad had this cat and gave it away to one of his relatives that lived 6 miles away after it had lived at my dad's house for several years. And so, of course, as soon as the cat gets to the new house that's 6 miles away, the cat disappears. And then about 5 or 6 days later, the cat shows up back at my dad's house.
Wow.
Yeah, that thing figured out how to get back home over a course of 6 miles after being driven in a car that whole distance. So, cats, if they want to come back, they know how to come back.
Yeah, and, it was fun. So but anyway, so let's get on with Ronnie here. I mean, I want to let's introduce Ronnie, and let's hear what she has to say about her experiences and her mother's experiences with the Theologians of Orion.
Absolutely, let's do it. And quick shout out to everybody in both the chat rooms. Thanks for being here. And so tonight's guest, ladies and gentlemen, is Ronnie Theroux, and she's the author of the Theologians of Orion. and a book that was a long time coming and is now available. We've got the links to the book over there at shifthappensradio.com on the guest info page. Make sure to check that out. And without any further ado, without any further lilly-nilly, ladies and gentlemen, Ronnie Theroux. What's happening, Ronnie?
Hello. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah.
I'm so glad to be back again. I kind of took a few years off from doing this speaking thing, but I'm just getting back in again, and I'm so glad you guys for having me on tonight. Thank you so much.
Yeah, and I don't blame you for taking some time off because, as we were talking about earlier, damn, you're a busy woman.
I am very busy, but I also just got kind of negative about the whole thing, and I just said to myself, nobody's going to believe this story. And the more that I get out there and the more that I talk about it, and I hear the own words coming out of my mouth, I said, it just sounds crazy. It really does. But our story is real. And I think we were supposed to wake up a long time ago, but I think it took me a long time because I'm not a young person anymore. And I kind of woke up later in life, which was only started in 2012, that really took off in 2013. Do you want me to just go ahead and continue?
Before you tell us tell us who are the theologians of Orion? As far as you know, to the best of your abilities, how would you describe these people?
They are our creators. They're the people who put us on the planet. And from my understanding, what I've seen, and I don't know anyone else who has this contact, these particular people do not reach out to many people because they have other people do that for them, including the other advanced races that they work with and the Greys. They have the Greys do the job for them. That's why they don't come here. Kind of like think about layered management. You're the boss. You don't go out and talk to anybody. That's kind of like it is. They work with the advanced races. And
well, you mentioned Greys. Are there more than one race of Greys?
Yes, there's all kinds of different types of Greys, they said.
Who are the Greys working with? Because, a lot of negative connotations with the Greys because a lot of people think that they're the ones abducting people, and maybe they are. I don't know.
Well, they are. And there is negative connotations because they don't have any feelings. So when they come and they take things from you and poke you with the needle, they're doing a job. They're programmed.
Yeah, I was going to ask, are they like flesh and blood? Are the Greys flesh and blood beings like us, or are they more of a autonomous drone sort of thing?
They are, in their words, I will quote, a combination of biological material and mechanical apparatus. So they are biological like we are.
They're like robotoids or androids. They're part human, part AI.
Yes. They're, as far as I know, their eyes are mechanical because they're cameras. Their eyes are actually cameras. And what else makes them mechanical is the fact that they have the chip in their head, and that is a chip that instructs them what to do. And they are programmed to do a job and nothing more.
Programmed life forms. Interesting.
So I think one concept that a lot of people don't see or they don't get, this contact really, it answers everything because they are the source. They were the first advanced race to be created by God. God did put people on the planet, but it wasn't enough people, so he created an advanced race and taught them to create. And the first advanced race was the Orions. And they put their own people down here on Earth. And then
come before the Anunnaki, or the Anunnaki and Orions part of the same team, or how does that work?
I think the Anunnaki are just another group of the Orion that came from the Orion constellation. They might have a from what they have told us is that the leaders, the Egyptian leaders, were Anunnaki. Akhenaten and his family, they were Anunnaki. They were sent down to teach the people.
Now, okay, before you go back to 2012, 2013, one more quick question. I've met you. I know you're a sharp woman. You're not gullible. You come across to me as somebody that's discerning, and you're not one to just fall for anything. That's my impression of you. I hope I'm right, but at some point during these downloads or these meetings or however the information was being given to your mother and to you, did you have a moments or times of skepticism where maybe you were trying to think, are we being tricked here? Are these trickster aliens? Is this a real message? Are we being manipulated? I mean, did those thoughts ever go through your mind?
They never came through my mind because of the actual content. I mean, the content of what they're saying is good. It's for humanity. They're here to come give warnings that we need to make some changes. They are here for the good and the good of the people. They watch over us and they protect us. So what they're telling us, and they might be mad at us, they're really not very happy with us, but doesn't mean they're bad. They are the people that put us on the planet. And they're the ones
I mean, are you like on a 1 to 10? Are you 10? You think, I mean, you're totally convinced, or you think this is like a 9 out of 10? Or how would you rate your level of conviction on this?
An 11.
No kidding. You're that convinced. No. Wow. That's what.
So,
it's myself and my mom. And my mom would not make up the things that she's being told. My mom is an 81-year-old homemaker. You know, she has no background in any of the material that is coming from her mouth. And when it started, it was like, what in the hell is this? When she started talking and things were coming out, I'm like, what? But they waited until we woke up. I'm sorry, did you have a question?
Gigi?
Yeah, I was just wondering, so if the Orions are very benevolent and helpful and whatnot, do you think there are other alien races that are perhaps interfering in a malicious way? Have they spoken to your mom and warned them about other alien races?
There are other alien races that they protect us from.
Okay.
They're not all good out there, but they protect us. They watch over us. You know, there's lots of talk about alien invasion. Look, we've had people that are watching out for us. I asked about the reptilians. They said the reptilians are real. They are real. And I said, are they trying to control things? They said they're trying to, but they're not exactly. But in all these years of having this contact, which really started in 2013, the one thing I did learn was that the most evil species is the human. That's who you got to watch out for. You got to watch out the people that you live on this planet with, because there's so much evil going on in this world right now, and that's one of the things that they're warning against. They're very unhappy about that.
You ever talk to them about the word demons, or has that ever come up in the conversation of the difference between maybe bad aliens and demons? Have you ever tried to get into that?
Well, they, you know, as far as like negative grays, they said it all depends on how they're programmed. If someone creates an advanced race, let's say the reptilians created a race of grays, they can program them to do bad things.
That makes sense.
So basically, the Greys are just a worker race. They're programmed to do a job because the advanced races do not want to come here, and a lot of different races now have their own Greys. So there's all kinds of different types of them. The mantis beings are also programmed. They are also workers, and they. What they told me was that they live on. They have these mantis beings. They live in a pen on their planet, and they don't know. And they're happy. They said they're happy, and they don't know any other way of life. But they have everything. They all have a job to do. The Greys, they fly the ships. They have different names for them, and they name them what their job is. So they've got seekers and retrievers, senders. And then they have carriers. The mantis beings are the carriers because they have long arms, and they said they can carry medical supplies and put them on the ship. But so the starting out of this whole communication, though, it really took us for a loop because it was 20.
Remember the very first time? Try to go back.
Yeah.
We got about 3 minutes before the break.
Well,
just tell us the very first.
Here's what we should do. We should save that for after the break because we have to cut to a break pretty much right now. We've got time for about one question from the chat room. He changed his question. Okay, well, here's his new question. He asks, ask her if the Bible fits in with any of her contact talks. Is there any correlations with what the Bible says and what they're telling your mom and therefore you?
That's a very good question. Yes. They said that Bible was written by man and it's not the word of God. And they don't like, I'm sure I have read the Bible here and there, but it's, there's a lot in it. And I'm sure that there are good things in there, but there are some Bibles that are used to control people and manipulate people. And so just everything seems to get infiltrated in a bad way here. And they said all you really need is the 10 Commandments.
Okay.
So did they write the Bible? No. I guess God inspired the Bible. But people here wrote it. Maybe they've got downloads themselves. Maybe they got telepathic communication as well from, because I'm guessing. They did say that there is a book out there that is the closest story to Jesus, though.
Yeah, I was going to ask if, what about the lost Gospels that were taken out? The Gospel of Thomas, for example, the Gospel of Enoch, Mary Magdalene's books. Did they mention anything about those?
I didn't ask about those. I didn't want to get into. There's so many things that you can ask, and when you ask somebody about who knows almost everything, they don't know everything. They can't. It's not possible for them to know everything they said. But I have to really think about what are the most important questions to ask, and that's not one of them.
Right.
But they did say the closest thing to the story of Jesus is the book called Killing Jesus by Bill O'Reilly, because they said that they think he got his information the way we get it, through a channeler. That's what they're thinking. But they said it was 85% correct. But as far as delving into Bibles, no. They don't like how things are manipulated, and they don't like how some of the Bibles were manipulated and changed to. They said with interpretation, they kept getting changed. Maybe not always on purpose, but then there's also some of the Bibles that were, meant to control women and children.
Right.
And stuff. They talked about the what's that one? The Middle Eastern one. Can't think of the name of it. Yeah.
Middle Eastern is not the Torah, the Old Testament, or.
Are you talking about the Dead Sea Scrolls and the books found within?
I cannot think of what it's called. It'll come to me a little bit. But
okay.
Let's go to break, Gigi.
Yeah, while that comes to you, let's go ahead and take our first commercial break. Ladies and gentlemen,
as we explore the
that's not the right button. What happened there? There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Shift Happens here for the Fringe FM. I'm your host, Gigi, along with our guest co-host for the evening, Eric Awakening Man, and we are here with Ronnie Theroux, talking about the Theologians of Orion, and we'll be back here in just a few short minutes. Do not go anywhere.
Listen, as we explore the mysteries of the universe, the unknown, high strangeness, consciousness, and our human potential. Lighting the Void is an eclectic program that strives to ignite the late night with stimulating conversations. Join us on the Fringe FM.
Yohoy there, it's Gigi from Shift Happens, and you're listening to the one and only Fringe FM. Well, at least I'd imagine so. I'm not sure how else, you'd be hearing this.
Musicians experience a lot of frustration with music marketing and promotion. They have no idea how to get their music heard, and they're spending hours sending emails, making phone calls, and hitting up their friends to promote them. With our industry-powered digital marketing platform, we can set up your media plan in minutes. Our team will automatically distribute your music across all the best channels, so you can focus on actually making the music. Submit your music today on our website at mymusicpromoter.com. That's mymusicpromoter.com.
My name is Alex Exum, and you're listening to The Fringe FM.
Are you avoiding the media? I don't blame you. Hi, I'm Jess Rogie, and it's my job to sift through the BS to find you the best in Fringe news. Listen to the Rogie Report news here on the Fringe FM, KTLK Digital Broadcasting. The truth is out there, and so are we.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Have you suffered in silence or experienced stress from a paranormal experience? Even if it happened 20 years ago, when thinking or talking about it today still makes you feel sick to your stomach or makes your heart beat faster, or you suddenly can't breathe. Maybe you even feel those old familiar signs of a panic attack trying to reach the surface. You could have unprocessed emotional responses. Those reactions of terror and trauma are no different than living through a horrible assault, childhood abuse, or a terrible car accident. It can be nearly impossible to find help. The very instance of seeing a ghost or encountering a cryptid could be clinically described as seeing or hearing things that aren't there. You could be considered psychotic, or at best, you're just not taken seriously. Out of a growing mountain of research, the National Institute for Integrative Healthcare showed that 8 out of 10 veterans who completed just 6 one-hour EFT sessions no longer tested positive for PTSD. If you've had paranormal trauma, you can contact Metaphorical Archaeology by calling 214-995-3754. Again, that's 214-995-3754 for a discreet consultation. Thousands of people are having paranormal experiences with ghosts, demons, shadow people, dogmen, Bigfoot, and more. Their stories need to be told, and they are being told. Dark Waters, the renowned storyteller, invites you to join at IamDarkWaters.com for For just a few dollars a month, you can listen to some of the most hair-raising and compelling stories on the planet. You'll have access to real-life stories told by Dark Waters, thousands of hours of content. Their encounters are being told, and told by the best, at IamDarkWaters.com. Listen to stories like The Rabbit Man, the Dogman Encounter in Silas, Alabama, The Man with No Face, The Other Woman, A Day Ahead of the Devil, Dogman Murder in Hurricane Ida, even a story of someone trying to kill a dogman. Louisiana Water Demon stories. Sign up today and become a member at IamDarkWaters.com. That's IamDarkWaters.com.
I came to LA to make rock and roll. Along the way I had to sell my soul. I made some good friends that make me say I really want to be in LA. I took the 10 to get to Beverly, laid some rock to tape, roll out 180. Alan and Natasha always make me say I really want to be in LA.
And we are back. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, for the Fringe FM, this is Shift Happens. I am your host, Gigi, along with our co-host for the evening, Eric Awakening Man. And we are here tonight with Ronnie Theroux, talking about the Theologians of Orion. I'm pretty sure I keep mispronouncing that word, but you know what I mean. You know what I mean. I'm a dunce. I admit it. But real quick before we do, another quick shout out to both the chat rooms, which, by the way, if you're new to the show and you want to figure out how to get into the chat room and get your questions in for the guest, there are two ways of doing that. The main chat room is over at Spreaker. The quickest way to get there, just go to shifthappensradio.com, look for the episode player in the middle of the home page, and right at the title of the current live episode, click the speech bubble icon, and bam, you're in there. And the other chat room is over at the Fringe FM, and the quickest way to get there is just go to www.fringe.fm/chat, and then bam, you get an automatic invite into the chat room at that point. So there you go, nice and simple. Also, don't forget to get the Fringe FM app, the easiest way to listen to these shows, instead of having to go to Spreaker and navigate through all that stuff, or going to our website and having to scroll down and find the episode and all that. Just get the Fringe FM app. It's available on both Apple and Android, and just go to the App Store, download it, and then bam, you just click once to open the app, and then push play to play whatever's playing. Could not be more simple. Get the Fringe FM app right now. Do it. Do it. Just do it. All right. And so now we're back. We're back with Eric and Ronnie Theroux. So I think we should probably take this back. Because I think we kind of jumped the gun a little bit on that first half hour. We a lot of good questions there and a lot of good stuff. But I think it's important for us to cover where all of this contact started and how this all came about. So let's have you take us back to the beginning, Ronnie.
Okay. Well, what I'm saying is the beginning. I don't think really was the beginning. But in my book starts out with the awakening, and it really just takes off from there. But as far as I knew back in our awakening, this was just some new contact. But I started to think to myself, wait a second, I was having all these strange thoughts throughout my life, and so I was thinking, once I started understanding what this communication was like, and how sometimes you have thoughts put in your head and they're not your thoughts, then I realized, and then right then I started thinking, wow, I know what all these thoughts were now. So before I get started with the awakening, one of the thoughts I had when I was 3 years old, and I was looking at my mom. She was standing up talking to someone. She was very pregnant with my brother. And I had a thought that came into my head that said, if I was born from my mother, then how was the first person made? And it made me look at my mother, who was her pregnant belly. And so that was one of the strange things that happened, the strange communication that I didn't know how to just, you can only think that it's your own thought. You're like, why would I think that as a 3-year-old, Yeah. But so fast forward many years later, because I'm kind of a late bloomer. It was 2012, and I was having some problems I had been at this company for 11 years, and we have some problems with a new building. We moved into some mold problems. And so I had to finally leave there because it wasn't getting taken care of. It just, I had to go. And I had this strange feeling that I needed to sell my house because this thing was going to be a long haul. So then I was off of work for a few months. I had to recover. And so we started thinking about, what are people now saying about our origins? Because all my life I always wondered where we came from and how life got here, because I knew that there had to be more. It's a big mystery. And I had all these thoughts all my life about God, the church, and how the earth was populated. So I decided to go to my first UFO conference in February 2013. I kind of was reluctant to go because I just didn't think it was my thing. I thought there might be some really strange people there. But come to find out, there's some very, very nice people there.
Yeah.
And I started having more experiences and crazy energy things going on. And it was like fireworks that didn't stop for months and months afterwards. But so people I've talked to said, well, I think they asked me, was there something, because my mother saw a UFO in 1958. And they said, I think that you need to question her more on that because there's something very different about you. And I'm like, okay. And I know I skipped over the experiences, but we'll get to this part first. So I ended up going home from the trip and was reading a book on it, just some UFO stuff. And then I just said to myself out loud, is this real? Is this stuff real? And then I'm like, okay, I'm done reading for tonight. And I went over to the light to turn it on. And two of the chandeliers just exploded. Pop, pop. And then I jumped. And then I went, wow, that was weird. And then I went down to the hallway to turn that light on. And it too just exploded. I went, wow, that is weird. And then the next morning in between sleep and awake, I got an image in my mind. And it was a man in a robe with a beard. And I said to myself, why am I seeing this? And all of a sudden, right after I said that, I got this feeling of unconditional love in my body. And right then I knew it was Jesus. And I said, I'm like, what is going on? All this crazy stuff is going on. So a couple of days later, I finally called my mom to ask her about her sighting, and she said that it was in 1958. It was in Riverside, California, if anybody knows where that is.
Yeah.
I would think it's more like Hemet, Riverside, Hemet. And she was a teenager with her cousin, and they went to see a drive-in movie. But their aunt had said, do not stop off anywhere. She was very, very strict. But what did they do? They stopped off at a malt shop, got a malt, and said, okay, well, we better hurry up. We're going to get in trouble. So they hopped in their car, and it was like a 1949 Plymouth that she told me. And they were driving, and she had it floored. The cousin had the pedal floored to try to hurry up and get home. And a ship flew over their car from behind and stopped right in front of them and stopped their car, and they looked at each other, and my mom said, I noticed she had the pedal to the metal, but we were going nowhere. So the next thing she remembered was getting out of the car 5 miles away at the house. Only my mother was getting out of the driver's side. She was not the driver. So they were taken. They went up the steps to the house. They got in. They looked out the window. They saw that the UFO was still there, and it took off. And it was at that moment I went, "Oh my God, Mom, you had missing time." I go, "That means you were taken." She goes, "Well, yeah, I must have." So so during this call where I'm like, "Oh my God," I'm like all in shock and everything, because this kind of stuff doesn't happen to my family. And all these years, because so I was just about to get off the phone with her. I was still like really confused, and like I'm thinking, what is going on? This is just all this crazy stuff is going on. And then so I started trying to get off the phone, and she just goes, "You know what, Ronnie, I don't know why, but I always think about God, the Bible, and how the earth was populated." And I said, "That's what I've always thought all my life." And I said, that's not you talking. Somebody else is talking to you, because by this time I've read up about some telepathic communications and channeling and things. And I went, "Oh my God." And then all of a sudden she started to say things. So we confirm she's got some kind of communication. And then this starts coming out of her mouth. And this is, she said, "You do not see with your eyes, and you do not hear with your ears. You make your own heaven and hell on earth. Adam and Eve did not populate the earth. You no longer use your brains. The people of earth were given free will. We are unhappy that you are destroying yourselves. The gray beings are almost like you. They think in a straight line. They are programmed prototypes. We call the grays by the job that they do. We call them seekers and retrievers. When your DNA gets low, we pick you up and put an implant in your body so that we can upgrade your DNA." So the first words that were said, those are the first channeling that happened. And I'm just in shock, and I'm like, what in the hell is this? Who is this? And I'm trying to ask her, "Mom, who is this? Who's talking to you? Who are these people?" And just no one seemed to reply. And I'm like, "Oh, wow."
So, real quick, what year was that first channeling?
2013.
2013.
Somewhere
Okay.
around April, I think, 2013.
Okay. Wow. Very
March,
interesting.
April. Might have been March. But I'm thinking, wow, I'm thinking, okay, I'm trying to talk to her. I'm trying to talk to them to find out who they are. And nothing's happening. I'm like, okay, I'm going to have to come back at this. And I'm like, I get off the phone and just stunned, going, I do not know what is going on. Apparently it was all meant to be. I was meant to get sick and leave my work because I was too busy in my work. I was very, very busy in my work. I was a manager running all kinds of projects. And so I had no time for anything. So now I had a lot of time on my hands, and she started drawing pictures of really strange beings and people. And she was doing that in 2012, but I didn't know about it until 2013, because she didn't know what to think about it. She just said, "Yeah, I just get real focused." And she's like, almost like obsessed. I get obsessed, and then I draw these pictures for like 30 minutes, and then when I'm done, it feels good to be done. And
was your mother ever an artist prior to this?
No, she was not an artist. She would doodle, but she's not an artist. But now I have a book.
Does she see those pictures? Are those pictures in the book, or have you seen these pictures? Are they still have copies of them?
I have a whole binder full of them. There's so many, and there are a few of them in the book. She was also channeled some names of some of those people that speak to her, whoever they are, and they look strange. They're strange names with strange little ticks on them, and It's in page 15 of the book.
Quick question, Ronnie. Does your mother, when she's instead of me saying channeling, I'll say when she's sharing or relaying this information to you, does her personality, her tone, her appearance, does any of that change?
No, she's just basically, her communication is on 24/7. You can call her and ask them a question.
Wow.
They're on 24/7. She doesn't do anything. She has a special gift.
Giving her information even when she's not really ready to, like, let's say she's going to the bathroom, when they start talking to her, only when she asks.
Yeah, no, they'll start talking to her whenever they want to share something with her. She says she'll be getting out of the shower and they're telling her things. It's. At any point, I mean, you know your mom. I'm not presuming this to be the case, but did you wonder if maybe mom was something that was going on in her brain or something? Were you concerned? I mean, maybe to take her to the doctor and just, did that ever come into your mind? No, never.
What was it about the experience that convinced you that this was completely real, that had nothing to do with her losing her marbles for some other reason?
The things that are being said and the fact that the 2 and 2 started to come together as to me having the communication too throughout my life. And I'm going, okay, there was some bigger purpose for this. And now that I've realized and understand there's aliens and other people on the other planets, because I just really did not follow ufology. I did not follow anything spiritual groups. I was never involved in those kind of things. And I'm still kind of like on the defense of those things. I don't jump in wholeheartedly into it. There's some things about it I don't like, but it was basically just the things that are being said. And my mom's not loony. I just understood that we were contactees for a reason, and the reason became pretty apparent as to why we're here, why we needed to get the word out, why we needed to put it in a book and get the message out. It's not so much about selling a book. The book has amazing information in it, very, very amazing stuff in it. But the biggest message is that they came through to us to tell us, so that we can tell the world, is that we don't have a whole lot of time to turn our pollution around. And they're very concerned. The other part is that our world has become too evil and we need to get back to being good people. And they're very afraid that someone's going to push a button, a nuke button. And they're on the fence. And they're
Did she ever ask why they selected her to be this person to share? I mean, are there others like your mother that I'm guessing she can't be the only one, because how are they going to get the message out just through one? I'm not trying to be rude. I'm just saying, I'm trying to think this through.
Well, they had instructed the Greys to, as you probably have heard through various people's stories of they're abducted, that they are flashed destruction of the earth in their minds. And that's one of the ways they're trying to get the message to us, but nobody's listening. Nobody does anything about it. And everybody leaves the pollution to the next guy to fix, and it's not getting fixed. So they've been trying everything they can, and they do send a lot of things down to clean up some of our pollution, but they say that they can't do everything for us. It can't be like, we're cleaning up after the children. The children need to know the avenues they have, and they need to use them. And we need to get on it. We only have until 2076. And after that time, they said the pollution will be irreversible. And already people are dying every day from pollution, but people just don't realize that. People have really not opened up all of their senses that they have. There are more than 6 senses. And the other senses are more like a hyper understanding of things. But they're very, very unhappy with us. And I could read another I would like to read one of the most crazy, chilling, long message that they had my mother write down.
Okay.
It's also on my YouTube channel. There's a channeling of my mother going on about the pollution. One of my friends got on the phone and he taped her. They're talking about the pollution in Fukushima, what can be done, and so on and so forth. It was a really good session to listen to. There's other things there. There's something about autism, what they saying is caused autism. There's so many things that they have told us. Anyway, so here is the message that gave me shivers. You were a challenge. We had to bring you to Earth because you were too different and you couldn't live in our world. We wanted you to be happy and prosperous, so we chose Earth as the planet best suited for you. You are our experiment and we still watch over you. You need to open your eyes and listen to your Earth. We gave you the chance to all live in peace and harmony. You do not think beyond your nose. The 10 Commandments is all you need to go by to live a good life. Remember, if you didn't have a God to look upon for help and fulfillment, what would you do? You would be lost. We want to help, but from afar. No way could we socialize, reason being we are too different in our bodies, our way of thinking, our way of living. Marriage would be like a giraffe, living and consorting with an ape. We would be creating a new, strange, and different world, a world that should be placed on another planet. This is what happened before. We took part of ourselves and developed you. Through time and error, we created you. We wanted you all the same, but different.
Wow.
Yes, and the copy of the actual channeled message is in the book as well. They, like I said, they're just very unhappy with us. And as they had said, that humans are the most evil species. I mean, think about it. Look at how much evil's been.
Right. Well, here's what I don't get, and maybe you can help me understand better.
Sure.
If they're saying humans are an evil species, but yet they're the ones that created us, so, and they're mad at us, so it's their fault. I'm not trying to be silly, but
yeah.
How is it? I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh.
They're bitching at us, but they're the ones. If they're the creators, why didn't they create us better, or why didn't they give us more tools? And you know what I mean? What's the deal?
That's a very good question, and I have an answer for it.
Good.
They said when they created us, they had lots of trial and error. So when they created us, they said they took DNA from all these different planets, probably because all the different planets have all the different races. What they exactly mean by that, I don't exactly know. They took DNA from all these different planets, and they said that something went off track when they made the first human, and they knew it right away. And I think that just through trial and error, they tried to fix it. I think that was a Neanderthal, is that they were talking about. Something went off track. But they themselves, to answer your question, they created us and they don't understand us. They don't know how to get through to us. That's why we're here. My mom and I are part of their group. I've come to understand. We've come here from there. We came here and were born into human bodies, as strange as that sounds.
You're not even really. You are a hybrid, but not. You're kind of a hybrid in a sense, then.
Well, we're all
more so than, let's say, I refer to like humans, like let's just say generic mainstream humans. We'll call them standard humans. But then there's this upgraded or hybrid human that Mary Rodwell talks about, the new humans. So do you believe that?
When we, I don't know if we have something we got to wrap up or not.
Yeah, go ahead and finish the answer, and then we got to go to another break.
Are you talking about the new humans as far as these smarter people coming into the planet? Really bright kids? I don't know who the new humans are. Is he still here with us?
Eric?
Okay, my bad. Yeah, the new humans. Mary Rodwell talks about it sounds to me like that this group, maybe if what they're telling you is true, has been creating various versions of humans and mankind for a long time, and then where we're at now is they're still not happy. So are they creating new humans? Are they like hybrids, like you, for example? If you are a hybrid where you're getting this information out, maybe the next race of humans will even be more awake and more conscious. I mean, do you see that happening?
Yes, I'll explain some of it. Yes. So we're all hybrids. We're all a part of them. Not all of us. The advanced races also made humans. So they're approximately 55% of the humans on the planet belong to Orion, the Orion group. And then you've got other people who are, from other star systems. You've got people here that are reptilian DNA. And it could be a good thing or maybe not such a good thing. But the Orions and the advanced races are crossing humans with an advanced person and putting them on the planet for reasons. This is why you're seeing these young kids graduating college at a very young age. They're putting them back into the population because they're trying to inject more scientists and doctors who can help fix and change things here. And they said that their body withstands pollution better. That's probably
no. On that, let's take a break, and then we'll come back to the rest of that when we get back.
Okay.
All right, sounds good. Ladies and gentlemen, you are listening to Shift Happens here for the Fringe FM. I'm your host, Gigi, along with our guest co-host for the evening, Eric Awakening Man, and we're here with Ronnie Theroux. And we'll be back here in just a few short minutes with the Theologians of Orion. Do not go anywhere.
KTLK Digital Broadcasting, thefringe.fm, Napa Valley, California, Little Rock, Arkansas.
Tired of talking about the weather? No Shift. Well, Shift Happens is here to fulfill your desires as you reach that point in life where you crave tantalizing conversation about reality, ufology, the occult, and the conspiracies within, while simultaneously finding yourself desperately in need of your very own theme music, which we've got plenty of that too. So be sure to tune in to Shift Happens every Friday night from 7 to 9 Pacific, right here on the Fringe FM. Because the weather sucks, and you need some theme music.
Ever seen an extraterrestrial? It can be hard to believe they exist unless you've seen one for yourself. What if I told you I've seen them my whole life, but have never had a witness who shared the encounter with me? Now, what if I told you I saw 4 of them, 2 with blue skin, and there are over 20 witnesses to this CE5 event? My new book, The Blue Beings, Visitation at the UFO Conference, documents actual accounts from real witnesses, many of which have gone on record to attest to this otherworldly reality. Be a part of the quantum paradigm shift that is taking place right now. Go to johnpolkmedia.com to get your copy of The Blue Beings, visitation at the UFO conference, on sale right now at johnpolkmedia.com. That's JOHNPOLK media.com.
This is Ronnie LeBlanc, author of Monsterland, Encounters with UFOs, Bigfoot, and Orange Orbs, and you're listening to Shift Happens on KTLK, The Fringe FM.
KTLK Digital Broadcasting. We rock the paranormal talk.
And we're back. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, for the Fringe FM. This is Shift Happens. I'm your host, Gigi, along with our co-host for the evening, Mr. Eric Awakening Man. And we are here tonight with Ronnie Theroux. And so let's get... Well, I do have a couple of questions. But you two were in the middle of discussing something, so why don't we just get right back to where you guys left off and take it right from there.
We were talking about the negative beings, and so there are all these different people here. I'm getting I can
There's
hear
an echo.
Can you hear the echo? Okay.
I do hear it. Do you hear it?
I cannot hear the echo.
Is that better? Oh, okay.
Now it's good.
I think it's good now. Thank you so much. Anyway, so I was wanting to see if you had any. I think I was pretty much done. Just trying to give everybody the idea that we're all product of different races, and all these different advanced races. I don't know. I'm thinking there's 12 of them, and they put their own people. They made their own people. They made their own humans and put them here on the planet. But it's the Orions who watch over everyone, and I think this all started out with the new. What you were saying, the new humans. I don't really know anything more than what I told you about these new advanced kids coming in to the planet.
So, so what about?
Well, that's what Barry Rodwell's describing as the new humans. These new advanced kids. So they're probably the same people.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead, Gigi.
Okay, yeah, I was just I'm just wondering, because there's scientists from all across the board, even mainstream academics have acknowledged that there is a specific part of the human brain that the specific part of the brain that allows for us to have language and communicate. That part of the brain should have taken millions of years to develop, but for some reason it just miraculously developed over a course of just a couple of tens of thousands of years. And guys like Greg Braden, he wrote a whole book about this. And guys like Greg Braden are saying that somebody actually genetically altered the brain and sort of fast-tracked it to get us to be able to speak language. And of course, this is all if you buy the whole evolution theory, which, I don't know. Could be, could not be. But let's just say for a second that evolution theory is true. So would this be the Orions that were responsible for that, or did the Greys do that from the orders of the Orions? Were they ordered to do that, or was that something entirely unrelated?
Are you asking? Did they order the Greys to create people? Is that what you're asking?
Yep.
Not create people, but to speed up the evolution of the brain. Like I said, it would have taken millions of years for our brains to develop like that, but all of a sudden there was this hyper jump in evolution of the brain so virtually overnight our brains developed the ability to have language, and some of the biggest scientists in the world are in agreement that this was artificially done. Somebody had a hand in jump starting this. Would that be the Orions, or would that be the Greys under the control of the Orions, or is that something different?
Whether who actually did it, I don't know. Whether it was the Orions or they had the Greys do it, but the manipulation and the changing of man, the altering of man, was by the Orions. They did confirm that. Someone had asked them if they were responsible for the altering of man after they put us on Earth, and they said yes, they are the ones who did that.
Okay.
Whether the Greys do it, I don't know. But the Greys are very smart, and they're always learning procedures. They come here and they do learn. They save people, but they're learning how to do it themselves. And the Orions said that it makes them one up in their skills. So it's very interesting to listen to how they speak, because my mother doesn't speak this way. So I have a lot of question and answer sessions that we've been through, and if you were just to read them and just really people to really listen to know that these are people that it's not my mother, and it's people who are trying to use as a simple language as they can, because English is not their language. But I at first I thought you were going down the avenue of telepathic communication, and I think that they enabled my mother to have that with them, and that's what they did to her when they picked her up in 1958. They said they cleared out a space in her head, without getting to. I mean, that's just how they talk.
Hello.
Hey,
yes,
we have somebody
Hello?
just called in, area code 619. Is that your mother?
That's my mom.
Okay.
You can ask.
Hello.
Hi, Mom.
Hey, can you hear us?
Hi, Mom.
Can you hear us? Hello.
There? I don't know if she can hear it.
The Orions, they've got a hold of her.
Oh no! I didn't know she was in a.
Hello.
Hello.
Mom, can you?
I wonder why.
Oh darn! It's not working very well.
She's calling from a phone, right?
Yes, from a phone.
Oh, well, that should just automatically work. Yeah.
That was
Don't hang up and try again.
All right. Yeah.
What do you think, Gigi? Hang up and try again?
I just removed her from the call. Go ahead and tell her to try calling in again.
Yeah, so I'd like to just, I was trying to get her to call so that you guys can listen for yourselves. We're here to share our contact. It's an amazing contact. If people just really, really realized what we have here, it would bring them to their knees. It really would. These are our forefathers. They are descendants of the forefathers that created us. Because the original forefathers are gone. They said that they can live forever. Okay, she's back.
Hi, Mom.
Hello. Hi. Can you hear, Mom?
Hello.
Hello. Can you hear us?
Hello.
Hello. Oh, no.
What's wrong with her phone? Maybe it's her cell phone. Something's wrong with her cell phone.
I've been doing this for 6 years. I've never had this problem before. So I'm not sure what to do. Hello. Can you hear us? Let's see.
Hello?
I don't know what to do.
You there, Mom? Okay. I guess I can always try calling her.
Can you, on the next break, maybe you can call her and you can bring her in on a 3-way on your line, maybe on the next break. Or you're on Skype, though. She's not on Skype.
Yeah, that wouldn't work.
Hello?
If she can't hear you, kick her off of there and I'll call.
Okay. Let's try one more time. Hello, can you hear us? No. Okay, so we'll go ahead and remove her from the call. That's weird. We've never
very strange.
We've never had that problem before. Yeah, that's a pretty simple connection there. I'm not sure what went wrong.
But you couldn't hear us, apparently.
It is weird.
Okay, hold on. I'm going to put you on speakerphone, okay? Okay.
Oh, we could do that.
Okay, you guys, this is my mom.
Hello.
She is the channel. She's got the telepathic communication with the Theologians of Orion, for which, Mom, I know we won't have you on very long, but if they would grace us with their presence, that would be very, very appreciative.
I would say so.
Yeah, make sure to hold up the phone right directly at the microphone.
Okay.
If you know where that is.
Yes.
Yes, I do. Can you hear me?
Oh, not you.
Close as I can get, and I've got as high as it'll go.
Okay, yeah, we can hear you pretty good.
So you guys, knowing who we're speaking to, hopefully you have some good questions.
Yeah.
I can only tell you what I know.
So do you guys have any questions for her?
I have a question. Do the Theologians of Orion, do they have a home planet?
Yes, they do.
And where is that?
Well, if you want me to give you the degrees, I'd have to ask.
Is there a name? Do they tell you the name maybe instead of the degrees? Because we're not that smart to figure that out, probably. At least not me.
We're too stupid.
I know that they're near the star Betelgeuse. They're near there.
They really don't call their planet anything except, that it's of their name. It's named after.
Do you know if it's do they have a water planet? Do you know if it's a water planet by chance?
Underneath.
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 They have
they even live underneath part of the time. and they grow a lot of their plants into caves, and they have it kind of comes down into wherever they're growing, and it's called, I can't even think of the name of it. It's where the plants grow upside down. Hydro something? I can't even think of it.
Hydroponics.
Right. And some they grow up above. But it all depends on their weather. Because they have weather like we do too.
Did they ever talk to you about
their... They don't deal with it the way we do, though. They're smarter than us.
How long of what is a typical lifetime for them? Like, how many Earth years do they stay alive for, typically?
Oh, okay. They live up to 160 years.
Interesting. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. What were we going to say,
Are
Eric?
they living here on Earth now also?
There are, yes. Yes, there are some, yes.
Do they prefer to be in the mountains or underground or in the oceans, or how do they prefer? What do you think they might?
No, that's where they go.
Where? I'm sorry, I missed that. I apologize.
That's a specific thing to do.
She's talking about the Greys, I think.
Okay.
Are you talking about the Greys, Mom? They're Greys?
Yes. Mm-hmm. But people look at Greys in the way that they really aren't. They're really not mean people. So whoever they're talking about, it's not the Greys from there. No. Because they're here really to try to protect us. Because we just don't, all we care about is money. We'll step over anybody for money.
Right.
And they try to enlighten us into things that really shouldn't be and things that should be. But they have to do it in such a, and kind of like silence speaks louder than words. It's like they give you a direction. They drop hints. They whisper in your ear. Anything to get your attention because we're on the downslide.
Right. And so we have a question from the audience, which comes from Sarah Ann. Hey, what's up, Sarah Ann? She asks, how can we recognize the energy of the Orions when we connect? Do they project a certain color or sound?
You know, I'll tell you about the Orions. The Orions look a lot like us. But on their own planet, they dress a little bit different. I don't know how to explain it to you. Kind of biblical in a way. They're very different people. How to explain this? They little things mean a lot, but then a lot of little things they don't even put it in their daily way of getting around or doing or saying or whatever, because life to them is precious, time to them is precious. They're really kind of saviors in a way. You know, they said that they've had a few and been through some of the things we have, but nothing compared to what we have here on Earth. But they look like us. They look like it. But you know, there's some of them that you take a second look at them and a second thought. When they walk by you, they're sitting next to you. There's just something different. I don't know how to explain it. In their mannerisms, in the way they dress, because they kind of layer themselves.
Let me interrupt real quick. Do they actually show themselves to you in their physical forms?
It's just the way it is. You're not going to believe it. You're saying, I'm just out there. But no, you're not. You're probably right on.
Do they show themselves to you in their physical forms?
You know, they have, and that's what I'm saying. That's how I know some of them dress. The loose pants for the men. He wears like kind of like baggy pants, and he wears like a long like a light robe with a shirt with the puffy sleeves.
Are you explaining the man that speaks to you?
Yes.
Zentus?
Yes.
His name is Zentus.
Yes.
They flash her pictures in her mind of him.
Okay.
Yes, and he's got and I see he's got very soft hands, very big, soft hands. So if he does any kind of yard work, I'd be surprised. I mean, he's a very soft and a very round face, a very big head.
Everything she's saying right now is coming from them. They're speaking to her, and she's saying what she's repeating what they're saying.
Okay.
So let me go back in time when you had your experience where you might have, it appears as though you had a contact and you had missing time back in the 50s. Did you realize the next day or shortly thereafter that you had been altered or changed or awoken, or did that kind of just sit with you and then later in life you had an awakening? I mean, was it a right away, or how did that happen?
Well, I kind of did, but I kind of shoved it back into the back of my head because I couldn't talk about it to anybody. I mean, this was in 1958, and people would think you're crazy, and my cousin absolutely would not discuss it. All I heard out of her was, "Oh, no, I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to talk about it." But years and years, I mean years later, up until maybe 2 years ago, I realized when they let me out, they put me on the wrong side of the car. I wasn't driving. I was too young. I didn't have a driver's license. But I didn't realize that for many, many, many years. But you do know what happened to you. You do know, but like I said, you cannot discuss it with anybody, at least back then. And what's so crazy, my grandmother that lived in a trailer and my aunt next door, they saw it, but I didn't hear anything about that they'd seen us being brought in until my cousin moved in with me and was mentioning about it. And I just wish something would have been said then, because I had to hold that in all those years. I mean, all those years. Because people either don't want to believe, which I think a lot of them don't, because they're afraid of the unknown. But it happens to people. And I'll tell you what, when you talk with somebody that has been taken, you know that they're not, you'll know when they're telling the truth.
Yeah.
And you want people to believe you, but you're not going to go out of your way and scream and yell and holler and force people. You're just not going to do that. You're just not.
At any point in, like, maybe during the 60s or 70s, did you try to seek out any groups or people, or because there was the UFO groups were happening, there was lots of stories and articles and people were doing research, and I mean, did you ever try to find somebody that you can talk to?
Yes, I did, but then I chickened out. I just chickened out. I got on, I got on the computer at my aunt's house, and I was writing out my story. I was writing it out. But, that's as far as I got. I never put my name on it, not anything. But I did tell my whole story. I did. But I just kind of chickened out because, I don't know, it's sometimes you feel like it's fruitless, that people just, where are they at? I mean, if we're here, I mean, why are you not thinking that there's other planets with other people? And there are. A lot of these, fact the matter is, I love God. Don't get me wrong. I think God is everything. But, you read the Bible, God helps those who help themselves. Well, the people brought all of us here from other planets. We have like a planet here with all blacks. We have another planet out of here, Germans. Over here, Irish. Iran, Iraq, all that. And they took 100 from here and put them here, 100 from here. I mean, that's how this all got started. Not to say God wasn't included. I'm not pushing him aside. But
he started it.
But yes.
He started with Adam and Eve.
But that's how that all got started. But you don't want to say that to too many people because people just, they can't sit down and analyze things. They don't. People just, they go, oh, I don't believe it. But they don't take the time to analyze things and analyze people. That this may be true and could be true, you know?
Hey, can we keep you on the line here? But we're going to go to a quick break. Will you stay with us, please?
Yes.
Oh, sure.
Okay, we're going to go for a break, Mom.
And possibly we could take some phone calls as well in the last segment if we have time. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Shift Happens here for the Fringe FM. I'm your host, Gigi, along with our guest co-host for the evening, Eric Awakening Man, and we're here with Ronnie Theroux and her mother. We're talking about the Theologians of Orion. And we'll be back here in just a few short commercial minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Thousands of people are having paranormal experiences with ghosts, demons, shadow people, dogmen, Bigfoot, and more. Their stories need to be told, and they are being told. Dark Waters, the renowned storyteller, invites you to join at IamDarkWaters.com. For just a few dollars a month, you can listen to some of the most hair-raising and compelling stories on the planet. You'll have access to real-life stories told by Dark Waters, thousands of hours of content. Their encounters are being told, and told by the best, at IamDarkWaters.com. Listen to stories like The Rabbit Man, the Dogman Encounter in Silas, Alabama, The Man with No Face, The Other Woman, A Day Ahead of the Devil, Dogman Murder in Hurricane Ida, even a story of someone trying to kill a dogman. Louisiana Water Demon stories. Sign up today and become a member at IamDarkWaters.com. That's IamDarkWaters.com.
Are we living in a simulation? Listen live each week as we expand our awareness and explore the multitude of mysteries in this world. Escape the simulation live every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Pacific, 8 p.m. Eastern with me, Jess Rogie, here on the Fringe FM, KTLK Digital Broadcasting.
Musicians experience a lot of frustration with music marketing and promotion. They have no idea how to get their music heard, and they're spending hours sending emails, making phone calls, and hitting up their friends to promote them. With our industry-powered digital marketing platform, we can set up your media plan in minutes. Our team will automatically distribute your music across all the best channels, so you can focus on actually making the music. Submit your music today on our website at mymusicpromoter.com. That's mymusicpromoter.com.
Hey, this is Anthony Tyler, host of Black Hoodie Alchemy, and you are listening to The Fringe FM.
Listen, as we explore the mysteries of the universe, the unknown, high strangeness, consciousness, and our human potential. Lighting the Void is an eclectic program that strives to ignite the late night with stimulating conversations. Join us on The Fringe FM.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now, the Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
Have you suffered in silence or experienced stress from a paranormal experience? Even if it happened 20 years ago, when thinking or talking about it today still makes you feel sick to your stomach or makes your heart beat faster, or you suddenly can't breathe. Maybe you even feel those old familiar signs of a panic attack trying to reach the surface. You could have unprocessed emotional responses. Those reactions of terror and trauma are no different than living through a horrible assault, childhood abuse, or a terrible car accident. It can be nearly impossible to find help. The very instance of seeing a ghost or encountering a cryptid could be clinically described as seeing or hearing things that aren't there. You could be considered psychotic, or at best, you're just not taken seriously. Out of a growing mountain of research, the National Institute for Integrative Healthcare showed that 8 out of 10 veterans who completed just 6 one-hour EFT sessions no longer tested positive for PTSD. If you've had paranormal trauma, you can contact Metaphorical Archaeology by calling 214-995-3754. Again, that's 214-995-3754 for a discreet consultation.
Back. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, for the Fringe FM, this is Shift Happens. I am your host, Gigi, along with our guest co-host for the evening, Eric Awakening Man. What's happening, Eric?
Before we jump into the next topic, I do want to ask her about Val Thor and the Venusians.
All right, well, let's get right back into that with our guests. Ronnie Theroux and her is your mom still with us?
She's still with us, but we have a couple of things that we really would like to get out real quick. The most important thing that the Orions want us to know, they are like we're like the children and they're the parent. Mom, can you tell us now? One of the things that came up recently was this spirit that was seen at, was it the Texas Zoo? The spirit.
Yes, it was seen in the sky, and it has a warning. This
anyway, so the spirit that was seen, I believe there was a picture of something crazy that was taken outside of a zoo. It went around a couple weeks ago around the internet. I don't know if you guys remember what that is, but nobody knew what it was, and my mom knows what they know what they think it is. Is they said that it's an Indian spirit doing an Indian dance. He had a headdress on, and it's a warning. And Mom, if you want to take it from there, a warning.
Yes, it's a warning that people had better start taking care of themselves and their families from their home. Start taking care of your own home and whatever needs to be done, and whatever that means. If that means you need to be a better father, a better mother, a better son, a better daughter, whatever the reasoning. People need to start using their mouths for things and bad things. People need to open their eyes, really open their eyes, because people don't. People have gotten where they just don't seem to care. Well, if you don't care, no one else is either. Everybody puts everything on everybody else. If we don't quit doing that kind of thing to our world here, we're not going to have one. It's like they said to me. They said, like the old saying goes, you better smell those roses now, because there may not be no roses to smell. So, as far as pollution and things, it's all of us. Everybody just seems to say, oh, well, it's okay. No, it's not okay. It's not okay. And the little things you do when you start at home, and then it goes to your neighbors, and that neighbor, kindness goes a long way. If we could just drop some of the bad things in this world that we say, it makes for better. People need to take themselves, their family, teach them like we used to have in our families, which we don't have anymore. Respect is gone. Caring's gone. It's just a sad situation. What happened to us? We have well, they said we have lost. You have lost yourselves, and I believe that. I totally believe that. And if something isn't done soon, it's going to be like a dog-eat-dog world, and you don't want that. I'm sorry. I had to get that out. They told me it's something that needs to be done, or our planet is just heading for demise. And all these things where you're supposed to drudge, they said they were kind of upset because they tried to get the word out to people about drudging the lakes so that when the lakes fill up, they can hold more water. They told them how to save water, how to do all kinds of things, and none of the government, nobody listened. Nobody. The mayors, nobody.
Because in regard to the current drought that we're in.
Right. They were told a long time ago to do these things and more things that would really help. It would help us, but they didn't listen.
And then the third thing was the huge thing was about pollution and how we don't have a whole lot of time to turn it around.
Yeah, we don't. We don't. We'll be living on trash and in trash. Yes.
Well,
and,
one of the things that... Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Also, that, if people just have to use their eyes. They don't use their eyes. People look away, and they can't keep doing that. That's why we're in such a mess that we are. We've got to take responsibility for ourselves.
Those are your creators talking. Okay, I think Eric had a question.
I had a quick comment and question. So, Ronnie, you mentioned earlier in the conversation before your mom came on that approximately 55% of the humans here were made by the Orions, whether through them directly or through their gray people, whatever. But the point I'm making is, isn't it also possible, or do you have knowledge of, or have they discussed that possibly this has been said before that it's whether it's a rumor or not, I don't know, but that there's a reptilian type of mindset that's kind of taken over. And maybe these humans that we have on Earth that were maybe engineered by, let's say, as an example, certain reptilians or certain other races that do not have the agenda that the Orions have. So the Orions are upset with the humans that they've created because we're not fighting for them, for their. I don't understand how we're supposed to battle these other humans that are not under the same umbrella as the Orions.
Well, start opening your eyes, listen to what you hear, do things about, try to do things to make things better. I mean, when you see something, don't just throw it to the side and say, oh, well, it's not anything. But a lot of times, they all say, if it walks like a duck, looks like a duck, quacks like a duck, it's a duck. Try to do something about it, And Orion said, listen, there's more planets than just them. There's more out there that look like us. But they don't have the problems we have. And they're very disappointed in us. They're very, very disappointed in us. Because we're of a race that it's like anybody can buy us for any reason. And they're really kind of ashamed of us. And they don't understand us. They said because, like, our language changes all the time. They have to try to keep up with us. We have so much slang that keeps coming in. It's hard to know what we're even speaking of.
Okay, was there another question about, you can jump onto something else, I guess, or answer.
So we were talking before the show, and I mentioned about the Venusians and Val Thor, and I think you said your mom might have had a communication with them. Can you talk about that?
They did, and that's what they took up, and that's what they did. They they tubed the babies. Yes, they did. And they put their DNA with it. Yes. So there's a lot of them down here. Yes. Yes.
Okay. All right. So he wants to know about people from Venus. I don't know, the length of the extent of what we have with Val Thor is that my mother did receive a message from Val Thor. I don't know that they get too much into the people from Venus, but she did receive a message from him one night. It was just so happened that I was on Facebook and I joined this group that was a Val Thor thing, and I thought, oh, okay, it's probably nothing to do with them, whatever. I don't know, I just joined it. But one day, someone who was running that page said, listen in on this date, and Val Thor is going to have if you can tune in, Val Thor will have a telepathic message for you. And her special friends reminded her, hey, it's time to listen in. And so she listened in. And so really that's the extent. And he went on, she did receive a message from him, and he just kind of went on about what kind of person he was. He's always working and, just really, really passionate about work and, just a really good person and hard worker and loved horses and things like that. So,
and he's quite scientific.
But I don't know if there was another.
Do we? Is he still alive? Is he still on Earth, or did he go somewhere else? Or do we know?
We don't know that because I never asked anymore.
If you get a chance next time, you can ask. I'd appreciate it. That's the only question I'll ask. I won't ask any other ones.
I think he's still alive, right?
He's still alive. I just never asked where he was at. Because really, he's pretty jumping around. He pretty well gets around. So I never asked because I always just listen. I just listen to what I'm told and kind of go that way and try to do what I can to help. By listening and sending out whatever they tell me. I never asked. No, I know he's okay. I know that.
There's other stuff. There's things about their ships that they have told us. I'm just kind of trying to cram in some more information. There's things, I don't know if you guys know anything about that, their ships and how they generate light on their ships. About their
go ahead and tell. No, thank you. Please share.
So, can you tell us about their ships, their gyro, their lighting, just anything else that they could tell us about?
Okay, when it gyrates, one portion goes one way, and the bottom portion goes the other way, and in that it causes a friction, and that's where they get a lot of their lighting from. And some of their ships have like a cut crystal all around them. Has a cut crystal, and when you look up there, it's a special one. And when you look up at it, you're thinking, "Oh my God, look at all those lights! Oh my goodness, there's blue, there's green, there's yellow." And what that is a cut crystal all the way around the ship. And they harness the light from the sun. Now, and that's how they can make their beams. And they can make that beam go down to pencil size. It all depends what tubes they shoot it from and what kind of they have these in between the tubes they're like a
microscope.
But the little glass inside of it. But anyway, and they can do whatever they want with it. Now at nighttime they only have the moon, so they have to kind of really store up on the sunlight when they have it. But they do it in these tubes. I don't really understand it, so it's hard for me to really, let you know how they go about doing that. But that's how they get their the friction for energy. Also, like I said, it gyrates. One portion goes one way and the other goes the other, and that causes a friction. And that's how they get a lot of their energy.
Do we know if they have a base on the moon or not?
A lot of I'm sorry.
Do we
know if they have a base on the moon?
I'm sorry?
Do they have a base on the moon?
Oh, they sure do. Oh, they sure do. And I'll tell you when they all come there. It's when, when we have that, I guess it's called the biggest moon there is, the supermoon, what is?
He just had it last night. It was just or the night before last, supermoon.
But they're not bubbles. They're spaceships. I just don't know when that is.
It just happened, I think.
2 days ago. Yeah, supermoon, 2 days ago.
Really? But anyway,
Yeah.
that's when they come, and I mean, there's hundreds of them, and they'll all be on the moon, and they'll look like big bubbles, but they're not. They're spaceships. And then all of a sudden you'll see them, and they just, one goes this way, they just go away. They're only there for maybe, I don't know, maybe a half hour, and they all get up and leave.
What do you have you heard about the Tic Tacs that they started talking about in 2017? Who runs those Tic Tacs, do you think?
You know, I don't know too much about that. I really probably should have asked.
My mom doesn't really pay attention.
Next time you talk to me, maybe I'll know something.
She doesn't really. She pays attention to that kind of stuff to really know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But I would have to ask, you know.
But they
You know,
may not
sometimes
even.
you know, normally you don't really get your answers right when you want them, you know.
Yeah.
Sometimes it takes days, yeah. But but they don't always answer you either. There's some things they will not get into, and they've said that they really don't. They do not. They're really not into like us getting into rocket ships and going up there and vacationing. They're just not into that.
Yeah,
well,
I get it.
Yeah, I'm not surprised. I wouldn't want us going up there and messing things up either.
No, they don't want us there. They don't. No.
Probably not happy with Elon Musk.
Elon Musk is trying to go to Mars, so what do they think about that?
Yeah.
Go for it.
Really? Because he wants
He
to.
said go for it.
Why?
That's all he said. I don't know. They just said go for it.
Is it livable?
You know, certain parts of the year, I believe they said that it is, and certain parts of the planet.
That's exactly what some astronomers have said.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
Wow.
That there's certain parts of the planet of Mars where there's actually breathable enough atmosphere to where we don't have to wear... Yes, but only certain parts. That's really interesting that your mom just said that. Very interesting. Yeah.
Well, I tried to thing they told me, but I tell you, trying to get it out is just you're ready to explode. And like I say, all these years that I couldn't, like I say, if you've ever been abducted, it's wonderful in one way and scary in another, and then another way you just feel like you're an odd duck.
An odd duck.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well,
yeah.
We don't have a lot of time left, but I want to tell you a quick story. Maybe you could comment. Gigi and I were talking earlier about this guy named Bruce May that we interviewed way back in the very beginning of Shift Happens, who claimed that he was a reincarnate from Orion and that he was a commander of a giant spaceship where they had a war on Mars with the reptilians. Have you heard anything about that? And he said that he had pointed ears and 2 extra teeth, by the way.
I believe that he was. I still believe that myself because
Are you getting a feeling?
they did a lot of DNA. They put a lot of their DNA, and other planets do the same thing. It's not just the Orions that do a lot of things. Of course, they do better things, but you've got planets up there. You've got China. You've got planets you can't even trust. You cannot. They're like China.
Yeah, like China. what kind of aliens are running China? Do we have any idea on that one?
Good question.
Bad ones.
Bad ones. Oh no, because they're. It's like yeah.
I think it's I'm pretty sure it's the Draco because all their ancient symbolism comes from the dragon. So I think they're probably Draco, the Chinas. I'm just guessing.
Right now, they said, "Remember the planet of the apes." That's what they said. I don't know what they mean by it, but they said, "Remember the planet of the apes."
All right. Well, I think that's we got to go right now, and that's a perfect quote to end on right there. Remember the Planet of the Apes. And I'll tell you what, guys, we're just simply going to have to do a part 2 on this. Yeah.
There's a lot more.
Yeah, there's so much more we have yet to get into. So, but this has been an absolutely fantastic show. Thank you, Ronnie, and thank you, Ronnie's mom, for coming on tonight. Really appreciate you.
Well, thank you, and I'm so glad to get the word out. Really, really, thank you very much.
Does Ronnie's mom have a name? Does she have a name that we can use in the future? Ronnie's mom.
Barbara.
Okay.
Barbara. Well, okay, great.
Thank you very much, Barbara, for joining us tonight.
You're welcome.
We're gonna wrap up the show. If you guys want to hang, usually we hang out for a couple of minutes after the show. But if you guys have to go, that's all good too. No worries. Either way, it's all good. And with that, we are going to pack it in for the night. Ladies and gentlemen, you have been listening to Shift Happens here for the Fringe FM. This show is hosted and produced by yours truly, Gigi. You can follow me on Twitter at GGRabbit1, and you can also follow the show, more importantly, over at Shift Happens Pod over on Twitter. Co-host tonight was Eric Awakening Man. You can follow him over just simply at Awakening Man on Twitter. And also our roaming reporter is also Eric Awakening Man. And again, you can follow him on Twitter at Awakening Man. And as always, all blames and faults go to Fran. That's right. Hashtag Fran's fault. All right, thanks for tuning in, guys. But don't go too far, because coming up next, right here on the Fringe FM, is Lighting the Void with Joe Roop. All right, folks. We will see you back here next week with Mike Barra from Ancient Aliens. That's right, my friends. All right, have a good weekend, everybody. We'll see you later.